It's great to be here with you all today. This is an exciting time. I always love coming to Hobnob and get to visit and network and see everyone. It's such a special time. I am honored to be your state treasurer. Truly, every day I take it as an opportunity to go to work for you all. And I'll tell you, I'm very blessed. I have a great team I work with, and they're looking at how to make changes, how to strategically plan on your behalf, and it's very exciting. I want to tell you that it's been a lot going on in the last 10 months, a lot, in a very good, positive way. So let me just kind of give you a few highlights of what has happened in the last few months. You know, with the economy being so tough right now and the financial markets really on the downside, one of the things we thought would be great to do is get some money back into the economy. Get individuals money that they're owed so they can spend it. So we run the Unclaimed Property Program, and as to date, we have given back $10 million to the rightful owners. So $10 million is a lot of dollars to go back into the economy, which would turn it 3 times over. Just a few tidbits on those. Sometimes they've gone to families to pay for a child to go to college. Another time it's been to a company, and they hired somebody. There was enough money in $87,000 to hire a new person. The Palmer Home, what a tremendous organization in Columbus, taking care of children. $108,000 for them, and Good Morning America highlighted that. So hopefully they'll bring in some more revenue for the Palmer Home. There have been other charities. You know, whether it's big dollars, small dollars, it helps somebody, and that's what we should be doing, is providing assistance to citizens across the state. We've done some number stuff. We've saved $15 million in our last refinancing of debt. We changed some variable rate debt to fixed rate, and that was exciting. $15 million savings to the taxpayers. But what I really want to talk to you today about is the most important asset that we have in our state. It's our children. It's our grandchildren. It's our workforce. You know, we really need to stop a minute and think about that. That's where our next future is. That's where the jobs are. So in our office, we do run the college savings programs, and that's very important, because if you make investment in a child's college savings, be it to a 2-year, 4-year program, vocational school, you have invested in that child. You've made a long-term commitment. You believe in them. So we have to really push and get our children involved educationally. But what I really want to talk to you today about is that next step. What's the next step for our children that makes them the most valuable asset ready to move into the workforce? It's financial literacy. We have got to train our children in financial literacy. Too often our children grow up and they don't have any idea about budgets, accounting, how they handle their paycheck, what are the taxes taken out for? How do you get a car? How do you finance it? Oh, and by the way, do you have to pay for that car? And is there maintenance to go with it? And what do you do about savings? How do you save for that house you want to ultimately buy? Our children don't know how to do that. And I think it's time that we step up and we make a change for our children. And it starts with financial literacy. I will tell you that economics is currently being taught in the schools now, and that is tremendous. We need economics. Our kids need to know how to understand supply and demand. They need to understand what's going on with the products and so forth, and our trade. Absolutely, economics is important. But our children's understanding of financial literacy is a game changer. You know, right now, only 4 states, only 4 in the country mandate personal finance. But we're only talking about a semester of personal finance. Every 10th or 11th grader to receive personal finance could change our financial culture in this state. And why is that so important? Because if you change that financial culture and they understand how to handle money, they'll be better in the workforce. They'll make more of an impact throughout the jobs, the economy. If you're a child getting out of school and you have a better understanding of dollars and money, then you know what? Whether you're going to be a small business owner, you're going to work for somebody, you're going to be an entrepreneur, it still takes understanding the value of money and how you spend that money. You know, if you teach your children about money, what happens? They have instant power. It's buying power, it's investment power, purchase power on big ticket items. They then understand, what are big ticket items? What are mortgages? And how do we make the American dream come true? Well, so often it starts with being a part of society and having a good job. And then it's buying a home and being a part of what real life is all about, homesteading. And you know, here in Mississippi, we have a great place to live. Sometimes I think we take it for granted, but I think we should always stop and wake up every day and go, you know what? Mississippi is a tremendous place to raise a family, to be a part of everyday society. And so we should be ambassadors every day for the state of Mississippi. You can be an ambassador for our state if you're having conversation with people you work with, if you're inside the state, outside the state, talking to the teachers, talking to different homeowners, talking to neighbors, your church. But we have to be very mindful and thoughtful about where we are in perspective to our children and financial literacy and why it all winds up to be in our workforce and why that's so important. I will tell you, I think I will challenge this group. There's a lot of synergy in this room. But with only 4 states having mandatory education, we need to be number 5. We need to be number 5. We need to put it on the boards. We need to pass that legislation. We need to get those teachers trained up. And then we need to start financial literacy as soon as possible for our children. So there'll be a big push from our office. I think it's truly important that we take the time to do that. Like I said, it's a time to change. We have an opportunity to move ahead, to be ahead of a lot of states. You know, I don't foresee us just throwing it in with the economics. That's really not the right thing to do. It deserves full credit as it stands alone, and we teach our children. So that's where our big push needs to be. Now think about it. So many of you all work for corporations, businesses, banks, accounting firms, and so forth. If you want to hire somebody, don't you want to know that they can manage their money? Don't you want to know that they have the skill set to understand truly about what life skills are necessary? And so much of it evolves and comes back into handling their dollars. Because if you know what, if they're better stewards of their dollars, guess what? They're going to be better stewards of your dollars. They're going to be better employees. They're going to rise above. They're going to be totally different because they get it. They understand back to the handling and the power of money and how you handle it responsibly and accountably. So we owe that to our children. We need to make that happen. I want us to be the state that says, yeah, we're number 5. We're not 16 or 26 or 46. We need to be number 5. We need to jump out there. We need to have cutting edge. We need to use our technology, and we need to train these kids. You know, they're all technology savvy. They've got apps on their phones. They've got iPads, computers. We need to make that happen because they understand. And if they get the process of understanding their money and how they manage it, well, we've done a great service to our children. Currently, our law says that we may, only may, teach our 10th and 11th graders financial literacy. I see us changing that to shall. And then we'll shall teach our children financial literacy, shall teach them economics, and they shall become the workforce for tomorrow. And what's so important about that? If they're our workforce and they're trained, and we want them to work here, and we want them to have good paying jobs and be here, we keep them in Mississippi. And that's where we want our kids and grandchildren to be, right here with us, being citizens of the state of Mississippi. And that's important, but it starts with us, and it starts with our commitment to our children. Thank you. I enjoy being here with you, and I will tell you, I truly love my job serving as your state treasurer. Thank you. God bless you.